Hi everyone. Katie again from the Museum of Ontario Archaeology for our kids' crafts and activities this morning. We are going to be making some underwater archaeologists. And before we start, underwater archaeology, what is it? It is essentially the same as above ground archaeology in its purpose. So we are looking to learn about people from the past through the material things, the artifacts that have been left behind. The difference is that they are underwater. This makes it much more difficult for people to find them, to excavate them. You can't dig underwater if you've ever, or at least not easily, if you've ever been to the beach and you've gone down to the edge of the water and you've tried to dig a hole, you'll have noticed that water begins to fill up that hole. That's because we're right at the water line. And when you're underwater, the problem is even bigger. So underwater archaeologists, they don't really dig. What they're doing is they're looking for things that are sort of sitting on the bottom of the body of water, and that could be a river, it could be a lake, it could be a sea or an ocean. And here in Ontario, there are lots of underwater archaeological sites throughout the Great Lakes. We don't think of there being tons and tons of sunken ships underneath all of the Great Lakes, but there are. And each one of them is or can be an archaeological site. You can do underwater archaeology all over the world, anywhere that there's water. Most sites are shipwrecks or other sunken water vessels, but they can sometimes also be towns or ports or different places that at some point in the past were above water. They were on the edge of the lake or the edge of the river, the edge of the sea, but over time they've ended up underwater, either naturally or by human activity. So there's quite a lot of man-made lakes and things like that that have whole towns that were abandoned and sunk underwater. And so we can do archaeology in those as well. So underwater archaeologists, they have a lot of challenges that a regular above ground archaeologist doesn't have. The biggest one being, though, they can't breathe. So all underwater archaeologists also need to be scuba divers. And so that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to make our scuba diving underwater archaeologist. Next week, I'm not sure which day, possibly Wednesday, Heather is going to be talking a little bit more in depth about underwater archaeology and what it is and how it works, as that's one of her backgrounds. So for today, we have some cute little underwater archaeologists. So this little scuba tank. He's got a clipboard because what he's going down under the water to do with his scuba tank and his breathing apparatus is to record what's under the water. They can also do this with cameras and little submarines and things like that, and it depends on what they're doing and where they are in this archaeological site, but we're going to leave that for Heather to talk about. On our website, and the link will be with this video and has been with most of our videos, is a template page, and you can print this off and you can cut all these pieces out and you can build it from that, or you can use these as templates to cut them out of construction paper or whatever colors you want. So that's our little template. And I'm going to tilt this down so that I can show you all the pieces and how to put this together. So let's all the way down here. All right, so what I have is we have the body. This is the scuba suit. We have the head. The one in the template, I've left a circle there so you can draw in your face of yourself, or you can take a photo of yourself like I'd done with this one, which has a picture of one of my students who made it and put it together for me. So you can do that as well. Or you can leave it blank, it's up to you. We have some flippers. We have an oxygen tank. We have some straps for the oxygen tank. We have some arms. We have some hands. And I'm going to say that we have a clipboard. I also have a clip, which Stephanie had used to clip it on. I think that's kind of fun. And we have our little breathing apparatus. This is actually a snorkel, but we can imagine it going all the way back to the oxygen tank. If you're doing this and cutting it out of my template, I don't suggest cutting out the inside of this snorkel mask, so you can draw onto it with your eyes, or you can paste in pictures of your eyes. We have a fancy cutter machine that cut all these pieces out for me. But this is how we put them together. We're going to start off with our, just one second, here we go. We're going to start off with our body. So we have this long rectangle, and what we're going to do is we're going to roll that into a tube, just like that. And we're going to use some glue. There we go. Now I can see if there's any questions. We're going to use some glue with, again, like I did yesterday, Q-tips work great for glue. Paintbrushes can be used too. What's fun about this white school glue is that if you get a paintbrush all gluey from our white school glue, and hold it a few seconds until it dries. And now I've got a little bit of a lip here. I'm going to put some glue on that too. What's cool about this white school glue when it dries is that if it comes into contact with more white school glue, it'll re-liquefy. So if you do use a paintbrush, sort of choose a paintbrush to just be for glue and let it dry, dip it back in the glue, and it'll soften up in a couple of minutes. It works, and I promise it works. I use it with our camps at the museum. Then we're going to take the head, and we're going to put some glue on the little neck part there. And we're going to put that there. And we're just going to tuck it inside the body and just hold it for a few seconds while it sticks. Again, white glue, less is more. You only need a little bit for it to stick. In order to stick, it needs to dry. And so if you have a lot of it, it takes longer to dry and therefore longer to stick. So there we are. There's our body and our head. And we can give them we'll give him his oxygen tank. I've got an order for them on your template and I'm not following it. It doesn't matter, you can do whatever order you like. But here's our scuba tank, and we're going to do exactly the same thing with our scuba tank that we did with the body. So it's a rectangle, and we're going to roll it. So I'm going to take my Q-tip here, and I'm going to put some glue on the edge of this, just like so. And then I'm going to roll it again. There we are. Hold it for a few seconds. I think I didn't know this about glue. Yes, it's very cool. It's very useful. White glue, if you try to clean it, it just gets thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. It doesn't clean up very well, so it's best just to let it dry. There we go. And this scuba tank is going to go on the back of our scuba diving underwater archaeologist. So we'll put some glue right where the seam is, because that way we don't see it. Oh, we fell over. It's okay. Put some glue there. Again, not too much. And I'm gonna stick it right on there. And again, hold it for a few seconds until it dries. A few more seconds. That should do. Yeah, I'm just realizing I forgot to do a step, but let's do it this way. We have some little straps for our scuba tanks. And what I'm going to do, because I was supposed to put these around the scuba tank, but we've already glued it on. So let's fix our mistake and just do it a little differently. So we're going to put this is going to attach it onto our scuba diver's body. So you know what, this works just as well. So we're going to put it around, glue it down, just like so. Now it's strapped onto him. So we'll do the second one. I think that works just as well. So here we've wrapped it around the scuba tank, but this works too. Put some glue on our strap. Stick it to the body, tuck it in there. This will actually hold on too. Maybe a little more glue there perhaps. There we go. So now we have a scuba tank attached to our scuba diver. And our scuba diver needs some arms. So for these ones, we want the arms to stick out. So we're only going to put a little bit of glue on one part of the arm. And we're going to stick that to one side of the body. These are quite long. So if you think they're a little too long, scissors, there we are, a little bit shorter. Same with the other side. A little bit of glue on one side, and we're just going to stick it to this side. And I'm going to cut this arm a little shorter too. There we go. There's his arms, or her arms. And how we put our flippers on. So here's the flippers we have here. And for this, we want to attach the surface of the body. So instead of putting glue on our feet, we're going to put glue around the edges, just like this. Now this one might take a little bit longer to dry. Maybe I should wait to the end. Oh well. Now we're going to stick it down. And these little feet, these flippers, which is what the scuba diver uses to propel himself through the water, is going to help him stand up when you're finished with him. And again, when we're done with this, we're just going to leave him to dry for a little while. And if that doesn't stick in the end, a little bit of hot glue will work too, or just be patient and give him some more glue to stick. All right, so we have a couple more pieces to add on. We have hands. So these are our hands here, made out of mittens. And we're just going to put a little bit, he's got some gloves that match his. There we go, so there's one hand. Oh, and make sure they're both the right hand. It could be two left hands if we put them on backwards. I think that's correct. Let's give it a squeeze. There we are. Now he needs he needs two more things. He needs his or her scuba breathing apparatus. And this is gonna go right there on the face. And we would put our face on. And I don't have one of myself, but you can leave it blank. You can draw a face on. You can, as I said, cut out a picture of yourself, of your face, and glue that on, or you can just leave it. Scuba divers wear these scuba suits, which are usually black or blue, and what they do is they keep them warm, because underneath the water can be very, very cold. And depending on where you are. All right, we're gonna put this on. Let's see over there. There we go. There we are. Here's his breathing apparatus. It's attached to the oxygen tank, in our minds anyway. Here we are. There's his scuba suit, or his breathing mask, and our clipboard. So we have a little paper clip here. You can glue it on if you want, or you can paper clip it to his arm because it's a clipboard, so it's clipped on. Oops, I should do it the other way. There we go. There we are. Oh, and he's falling off his feet. We need a little bit more there. You know what? I'm going to show you guys how I think we need a little bit of an extra bit. And I have these little bits that I cut off the arms that I think might help. So let's take a little bit of glue, and we're going to put the glue on, well, actually we're going to put the glue on the whole thing, just like this. And we're going to put it inside, just like that, with the glue sticking out, like so. And we're going to do the same to the other one. Like I said, a little hot glue, if you have it, would work just as well as this, but this is actually going to help us out. And we're going to stick that right in there. Same on the other side. And we will flatten those out. So they're going to create another surface for our feet to stick to. Just like that. Let's see. I'm going to take a pen here. I'm just going to, because I can't reach in there, so we'll just tap that down so that it sticks properly. Here we are. I think we're good. So, tilt me back up if I can. Perfect. There we are. All right, so there's our little underwater scuba diver. You can see his feet are staying on there. There's his flippers, his mask, his clipboard for recording all of the archaeological remains that are sitting at the bottom of the lake or the river or the sea or the ocean, and his scuba tank on his back. Here we are. So later on this afternoon at 1 o'clock, I'll be talking about the history of the Lawson site and the archaeology that's done on it, that has been done on it over the past about 150 years or so. And tomorrow morning, again, will be the second installment of our archaeology Mad Libs. So we're going to continue that adventure, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Bye-bye.